used to tell something funny or something like that. I use that with the girls though. So okay, so let's be starting our next game on Sniper Ridge. This is a little bit more standard map, definitely.
Yes, definitely. You can definitely expand the way that the Walt was trying to last game on this map.
All
like
right.
in a line, you know.
So if you want, you can introduce the players, and I would just look at the point where you're talking.
Okay, yeah, at the top right we have Djem5, the Protoss, the Eastern Protoss against, in the bottom right, the blue Zerg from Poland, trutacz. One of the best players outside of Korea, for sure. And the Djem5, no slouch himself, but I definitely think trutacz is favored in this match. It's not impossible for Djem5 to win, but trutacz is the overdog and Djem5 is the underdog, for sure.
I know that trutacz in the not like maybe 2 months ago or something like that. I would say if somebody asked me who is probably like the best Zerg, then I would probably pick him without thinking. But I think in the last maybe 2 months or something, I haven't seen him like stream a lot. You know, he has been losing games that I think he would have won previously.
Oh, yeah.
So I would say that maybe he was just taking a break or something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, maybe it's nothing like that. But
it's definitely possible that he's rusty, but or maybe you just caught him at a bad time. Like, maybe he was tired.
I wouldn't say rusty. I would just say that he was maybe taking a break because he, you know, had other things to do, and he was like, well, I can get back to my old form anyway, so not big of a
Well, he should be getting into form because the Nation Wars playoffs are going to be soon, and Poland's going to play.
Yeah, yeah.
And he is one of their best players.
Definitely. Although I have to say that I remember that if I remember correctly, they have picked Koget as their ace in more than
a bunch of times. Okay.
Yeah, so it's interesting though. I mean, definitely it's a good way to keep the team really fresh. You know, kind of playing together and.
Well, I mean, if you think you can win without like your best players, then it's really good to do that because then you don't reveal your strategies and also you get like a good experience and practice to your other players.
The thing that we should kind of probably people who do follow the streams, either this one.
Oh my God!
That was
we had
like
a trade
double
there.
Kill?
Yeah. Wow.
Well, that doesn't happen often.
I guess that's good for Protoss. I guess.
I don't think it's good for either of them. I mean, it's neutral, right? Because the probe still has to come back down, another one, right? The hatchery still wasn't delayed because another drone went down, so it's neutral, I think.
Well, one problem with this is that Djem5 is not seeing the lack of Zerglings here. He went for cannon first against Overpool, and there are no Zerglings, so he really would have wanted to make that Nexus, and that really matters these days, guys. Like, in the past, you could get away with not really being optimal, but today, in Protoss versus Zerg, you have to be optimal. It's so important.
I know what you mean, because I have a lot of problems because of that. Yeah, that's definitely true. And one thing that, if I remember correctly, Djem likes to do is the 2 gateways before taking his gas to kind of put pressure with Zealots, but we will see if he's going to go for that.
I think this map is good for trutacz because he likes to play mobility-based PvP, like deny expansions while taking to Hive. And on this map, taking a 4th base is very hard because it's so far away, you know. So playing a mobility-based style with harassment and multi-pronged attacks and counter-attacks is really good on this map.
I do think though that since every single map that has like a very standard-ish layout is pretty decent for Protoss because of how you know how to move your army to take your thirds and things like this. It's kind of like a little bit more automatic, and I don't know exactly how it works for Zerg because every time that I tried to play with Zerg, it wasn't that simple for me to just, you know, make a bunch of units and try to secure a location. It was more about trying to figure out if I can even get away with that. So I'm not sure exactly.
It is totally different how you expand with Zerg and Protoss, yes. We do see a second gateway, by the way, and a late gas, so he's going for that, and it is going to be scouted by trutacz. And I think trutacz is very good at dealing with stuff like this. He doesn't overreact with defense. Anyways, but what I was talking about with the expansions is that, like, imagine that you take your third as Protoss.
Yeah.
Then, when you're going to take your 4th, it's so far away, you know. And so if you move your army to defend your 4th, your 3rd is vulnerable. But if you stay at your 3rd, then your 4th is vulnerable. Unlike, imagine that fighting Spirit, you can actually defend 2 bases by standing in one spot, sometimes, in some locations. But you can never do that here, you know. So that's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay, because I was thinking about how normally the Korean Protoss used to do this. I think, if I remember correctly, what they used to do is they basically would move their army constantly to look for the army of the Zerg. They
You
just
have to, yeah.
that's what they
Catch
would
them.
think about. They would not even try to kind of select a spot to defend. They would just constantly try to look for whatever can attack them. And
Yes.
that's a pretty cool way to play, because even though it requires a little bit more extra like APM and multitasking, the Zerg also has to be aware of that army. So it's kind of works.
Yeah, I mean,
both
you
ways.
have to play that way, but you still, like, on Fighting Spirit, you still don't have to move. The area that you have to patrol isn't as large as on this map, and that's why it's still, you know, easier to do that on Fighting Spirit.
Yeah.
We have a second Zealot going to the
I
fort
see.
right now, by the way, followed by more Zealots. We have a Zealot just forcing some links to stay in the natural, while, okay, now he's gonna try to take it out, while he goes to the other further base.
But that Zealot is gonna, I mean, oh, okay, this Zealot is not gonna trade that good, but the Zealot and the Natural did trade pretty efficiently against those Zerglings, and I guess that's kind of the strength of this, since you put them behind the minerals, and you kind of force the Zerg to either watch all the time, both locations, or they have to commit the Zerglings, so both ways.
Right.
It's a win-win, I think, in a way, for Djem.
Well, Djem5, he is forcing a lot of Zerglings instead of drones, but he's doing so at the expense of later tech. You see, the Stargate hasn't even begun, the Spire is about to finish, so...
Yeah, I think he usually goes double Stargate after this. Like,
Yeah, he's doing it now. He has to, or he's gonna die to Mutus. So,
yeah. You bank a lot of gas anyway. This
Oh, we
one.
had a drone going down in
yeah.
natural, by the way. Very nice. Very nice.
Okay, that's... And a lot of mining time lost too. Like,
Yes.
drones at the third had to be pulled back, then at the natural.
And Djem5 sitting at a 15 food lead now, and I mean, that's what you want as Protoss. You want to be ahead in food in the early game. And
One
he's
thing
accomplished that, so...
One thing that I would like to ask you your opinion on, what happens if you go for this style, like this, you know, just two gateways, and instead of kind of trying to defend heavily your bases, you kind of counterattack with a lot of speedlings? Wouldn't that kind of like automatically lose for the Protoss game?
If you die to it, then I mean, yeah, you're dead,
I mean,
because this...
it's
But
possible.
if you have a wall with like, you know, let's say you have probes and you just get a Zealot out, and then it's really good for you. So
Oh, yeah.
it's a very risky thing to do with the Zerg. But if the Zerg sees that you're not thinking about it and you don't have a wall, then yeah, it's of course something you can go for, and you can win like that. But it's not like so good that the Protoss that 2-gate isn't viable basically,
All right.
because you can wall off
Yeah.
and react.
Okay, now, however, Djem doesn't have the ability to scout too well, because he would be prone to losing the first Corsairs until he gets a few more of them.
Yeah, he's been poking around, but there's been Scourge, or there have been
Yeah.
Scourge just...
And Trutacz is
being
getting
painful.
armor for air, so...
Yeah, he's getting air control. He likes to have air control, actually, a lot. So that he can do that style I talked about earlier, you know,
Yeah.
threaten expansions with mobility and just get hive. And just skip the mid game, go straight to late game.
Although I have to say that I used to like a little bit more when Zergs liked this heavy, kind of heavy expansion, heavy unit mid-game compositions, because they were pretty difficult to use for the Zergs, but also pretty difficult to deal with as the Protoss. I mean, I've seen, like, I think Effort used to do that a lot.
Yeah, a lot of Koreans did it, and you can still play that way. Like, you mean when you go like 4-base, triple Evo, mass hydrolytic grenade?
Yeah,
that
pretty
kind of
much.
stuff. Yeah.
Kind of these kind of stuff, because you can still go for the later game later. Like, you can
Yeah.
still choose to do that. And if the Protoss is making a lot of units and they try to basically go for a big all-in-ish attack, I think you can still kind of drop their main, and that puts them in a pretty difficult position to choose what they really want to do with their army. So
It's really good. Yeah, like you said, you can go to drops with the army. We have some speedlots coming out now, and I think they
Yeah.
snuck out, so they may actually be unscouted here. But he has a wall, so TrueTouch is prepared for this.
because
Only one sunken right now, though. Gonna be too soon.
Ooh, that's very, and just links, no Hydras. So, well, no +1 though for the Zealots. So that's
No +1 for the Corsairs either yet, but we're about to have +1 for both. And it looks like he really wants to kill some Overlords with this. Like, keep TrueTouch busy with the Zealots on the ground while you kill stuff in the air.
But there are
And,
some. Well, there's just one Spore, so that's not really
Right.
that big.
He's gonna take a third at the same time, it looks like. And this is, I mean, this is really good. This is the median you want as a Protoss, and he established it with that 2-gate. You have
Okay.
more food than you... Oh, we got this Scourge coming in now, taking out... Ooh.
Not that many. I thought.
You know
more
what?
would
He
fall.
still has 7 Corsairs.
Yeah.
He still has 7 Corsairs and +1 about to finish, so... Yeah, he's fine.
But trutacz didn't actually lose anything with that attack, right? He's still...
Yeah, he's not losing any Overlords. Not that many. I mean, he is supply block now,
yeah,
actually.
Okay, but that's not a huge deal yet. He's still taking the 4th, so... Before the 3rd, actually.
His economy is decent if he can get this 4th saturated.
Yeah.
But then, the thing is, like, Protoss versus Zerg is always 4 basic and 3 basic mid-game. But the question is, like, what's the supply? You know, what's the Psi to control? And right
so
now,
far,
Protoss has way more stuff. Like, this is gonna be a strong mid-game army. And if he can translate that into more bases and into denying a 5th base, then he might win this game for sure.
Holy gem, basically.
Yeah. So that 2-gate actually worked. Sniping an Overlord. Nice, good stuff. He needs to run that one. Losing some Corsairs. Some Hydras.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Multitasking well enough.
What?
Oh man, that's
He's losing like...
That
wow,
sucks.
that's a lot of lost Corsairs.
That's really bad, because now he's not going to be able to go for, you know, drops with shuttles. He's not going to have air superiority. He cannot threaten Overlords anymore. And that's really nice for trutacz to not have to worry about that.
So far, do we have anything apart from Zealots? Like...
We have no Templars yet. No, not yet.
I mean, Zealots...
But these are like enough Zealots to deal with this, actually.
Yeah,
like, he's got so many.
Definitely he has. The thing that I was thinking about is basically... actually, trutacz is showing the lurkers. It would have been a little bit smarter to not show them, but basically, like... I don't know, try to do something with
Got a DT drop in the main.
Yeah, I got it.
It would have been really good to have more Corsairs now to kill the Overlords, but still, a DT is a DT. Let's see what he can do.
And there's still some action in other places.
Exactly, so trutacz may not notice.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, he's microing his Hydras. We got 5 drones so far. 6. He finally notices it.
That's actually still pretty soon, considering how much action there was in other places.
Yeah, I mean, that was good. That was pretty good, actually. He only lost 6 drones, which hurts because he doesn't even have a saturated 4th yet, but still. Could have been way worse.
Well, the thing is that right now, I think Djem can't really attack, considering that he just is basically Zealot against lurkers. Doesn't make any sense, right?
Sure.
So even though trutacz did lose some drones here and there, and the 4th is saturating now, I still think that's okay for him.
trutacz is definitely not in danger of dying, but the thing is, if Gems can continue dominating, then trutacz will never be able to take a 5th, and then eventually Gems can take a 4th and a 5th of his own. And that's what you really want as Protoss. You want to just keep running around and never letting the Zerg take a 5th. Because once he takes the 5th, he has to actually come out and fight your army with this. He can't hide behind a wall, you know.
I am thinking, though, that Djem is, I think, forgetting to continue his upgrades, because the Forge is not spinning, he's still +1. And that's, I think in PvZ, it's like, I think 20% pretty much of the game can be upgrades. Like, I think Mondragon used to say that he really likes.
It's a huge deal, yeah. We have another DT going in. Corsair trying to clear the path.
Yeah,
looks
but...
like trutacz
yeah,
is ready. Yeah, he's ready. Yeah, he's ready for it. What we really need from Gems is a 4th base. He needs, while he's strong, he should secure more bases.
Yeah,
like he should put up cannons, Templars, Reavers, you know.
But
this DT doing decent damage actually.
Yeah,
killing a bunch of drones.
I mean, that's like, I think that DT has got like what, 4? That's almost as efficient as the previous one. This one got scouted like really easy, but I don't understand this. 28 Zealots. I mean, Zealots are good, but that's gonna cut into
his. A lot of minerals.
That's gonna cut into his army later on. When Djem gets to like...
A few Dragoons would have been nice, to be honest.
Yeah.
In the mid game. But he basically has 2 options, and he needs to pick one fast. Because if you just sit around, and then you let Zerg recover, because Zerg grows faster than the other races. So he needs to either like go all in with 2 Reavers and Mass Dragoon Templar at the front, or he needs to expand a lot. Now, since he made so many Zealots and he doesn't have any Dragoons, I think he should expand, which he's doing now. Good. Yeah, he cannot go all in and win. In fact, he doesn't even have Reavers, so he's gonna try to expand again.
It's still late.
That's good.
It's still late. Like really, really late. If you look at the 4th of the Zerg, those extra hatcheries, when now trutacz gets another base, he will fill it with drones in an instant and also get more units. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, you want to get the gas fast, and he could have had the gas a little bit earlier, because when you are dominant as Protoss, you have to use it. You can't sit around.
Yeah.
Because if you're not killing your opponent, you need to use your dominance and map control some other way. You should use it to expand. Anyway, so we have no Templar at the 3rd of Gems, which means that it's actually quite vulnerable to this attack. And we see trutacz thinking about abusing this, because he saw that the Gems wanted to protect you know, his new base, his fourth, and that's when you attack the third.
And
but it looks like he's responding now, maybe in time.
Yeah, it should be in time.
Oh, a Templar walks into a bunch of Hydras and dies. Pretty bad. But anyway, he did save his base. 2 Templars go down for no reason, and that's pretty bad. But at the same time, the 6 o'clock is being raided by the Zealots, and that's really good. You can't let the Zerg expand. Because once the Zerg gets a bunch of Sunken Spore Lurker, it's like so hard to break.
You need, I think, Reavers for that to be efficient, because otherwise it's like, you make one mistake and you lose like 20 Dragoons for no reason, so yeah, definitely it's not an easy thing to do. I do think that the fourth of, right now, considering the position that, maybe it's because of the micro of trutacz, but that fourth looks extremely easy to kind of attack at this point.
It is. Jem's bases are rather vulnerable. He doesn't have Templars at him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that many cannons. And on this map, having vulnerable bases is really dangerous because your bases are so spread out later on. But he did prevent trutacz from taking the 6 o'clock, and he did save his fur, so
yeah.
Djem5 is still in this game.
Still, actually, we could argue that I think he's actually ahead.
He is ahead,
except in the army composition, I think, which isn't that particularly good.
I mean, it's mid-game, you know. This is like even army composition.
Yeah.
The question is just who has more stuff. And if he can storm well enough, he will have slightly more stuff, but he's not storming. He's losing Templars again for dying, and now he only has 1 storm in his army, so yeah. It's,
and these upgrades are starting to really be a problem for Djem now.
Yep. Oh god, Djem lost his entire army. Well, that's it, guys.
Yeah,
that's how you lose it. I mean, the game's not over now, but
you can't come
it's
back
definitely
from
good
this.
for trutacz.
Like, I mean, if you're really good and your opponent isn't, maybe you can come back from this. But
yeah,
if you're playing against a really good player, I think it's
trutacz,
really
yeah, this is gonna spiral out of control now.
Especially the gas, right? If you lose so many gas units, kind of like
yes, exactly.
Unless
you have like 6 geysers, then that's fine.
And even then, you need time to get everything kind of together. It's kind of, it's not that easy to do, to get a good army rebuilded.
Djem5 was ahead on Psy versus Control, but he lost his Templars and didn't even storm, you know. And now the 6 o'clock is gonna be safe. He had enough to take it out with better micro, actually. But he got flanked. You shouldn't try to attack the front, because you know the Zerg is flanking. You have to go and ambush the flank, you know, and be ready for it, and set up a good formation, so that you don't get flanked and lose your Templars.
Well, it's funny because Djem is still sort of defending this, like, barely, but...
Yes, but the thing is, like, we got the fighters coming, we got triple Evo, we got, you know, the 5th gas Zerg.
The 6 o'clock is also...
Exactly, yeah. Which he should have killed with his main attack. That should have been his objective. He shouldn't have just gone for the natural and then gotten flanked. He should have gone for the 6 o'clock right away.
I mean, there's still a problem for trutacz, and that is that he lost actually a decent chunk of drones, so he has to rebuild them, and that actually buys Djem some time.
But he can do that, you know. It's not a problem. Like, he's not threatened right now. He can just make nothing but drones and not die, because Djem5 is in no position to really put any threat on trutacz. Djem5 is the one who has to defend. It's a 2-base Protoss right now, except for the gas.
Especially, I think the upgrades are really gonna be bad. I mean,
yeah, 1-0 only.
Yeah, at 18 minutes, that's really difficult to come back.
He had the fast first, so I mean, he had the gas to upgrade non-stop on his forge because he had 3 geysers, and you really should just upgrade. That's time.
I think you even go double forge when you have 3 bases.
That would have been an option, yeah. But I mean, on this map, I personally wouldn't do that, because on this map you need to spend so much gas just to keep your base safe. You need like 2 Templars at every base, and then you need like Reavers too. So, but on another map, yeah, for sure, it would have been nice. Double forge.
What surprises me though is that trutacz is being slightly kind of passive at this point. I understand that he's the one who's saying, okay, I'm gonna secure more bases because I'm gonna win the game that way, but it still surprises me because he has the chance to at least do some damage, but he's
I think he's waiting for the fighters to start doing stuff. Like, once he has consumed, that's when he's gonna start do multi-pronged attacks against bases, I think, and maybe some plague harassment. He is attacking now at the front, not with everything, so he's gonna have to pull back.
We have 25 Dragoons for Djem. I think that's a little bit too much.
Well, it would have been great like 10 minutes ago.
Oh,
but,
wait, yeah.
in the mid game, you know. And now, you know, you really need just Archons and Templars. Alright, so we got Dark Swarm attack about to go down at the right, and this base is really undefended. There's only one Storm there, so he can easily just kill it with Swarm.
Yeah, without any doubt.
While the army defends the leftmost base, he attacks the right. He's attacking at threatening two spots at the same time now. Classic trutacz. Attacking the base to the right and to the left.
I mean, definitely.
And defend both.
Yeah, defending both is going to be really tricky, but one should be easy to defend.
Djem5 now desperately attacking at the front, but this can easily get surrounded by Krakens and Swarm.
And it's basically just Dragoons against Zerglings, so...
Yeah, and he's running out of Storm fast. He's already out of Storms. Okay, he's got one Storm left. No, two actually. Two Storms. 3 Storms. Fine. Okay, he's got 3 Storms, but...
Whoa, that was the
trutacz can just keep sending units in until he's out of Storm. And
yeah, but this trade actually, considering how the units from trutacz went like 1 by 1, this actually was a pretty decent trade for Djem, considering...
It was, but because he's so desperate, like, he's gonna have to keep pressing and he's gonna run out of Storms soon.
Yeah,
there's just gonna be more units coming. Like, trades only matter if you're already dominant. Because if he has the money to keep trading, then he's just gonna keep trading until you die. And that's what we're seeing now.
I mean, the thing is that I see Reavers now even being built at this at the newest expansion. So if he does get some Reavers there, maybe he can drag the game a little bit longer. Maybe he can make something out of this. I think Djem5
he can take and hold these bases and then take the middle. Yes, he can win, but trutacz is actually ahead in control over Protoss Psy, and that's not good for Protoss. And like, look at this base to the right. It's got 1 Storm. Like, literally, he can just send a bunch of links in with Dark Swarm and destroy the base. He really should do that, actually.
I was surprised because he attacked a little bit, then kind of like burrowed some lurkers, and then went away. Like, he didn't really.
I know. Like, why didn't he go in?
Yeah, either you go in or you don't go in, right? You know,
exactly. Yeah.
Maybe it was even better to send everything at the other base.
Yeah, I mean, if Protoss is defending the base to the left, send everything to the right. Sure, like, that would have worked for sure.
Okay,
I mean, you can. We have what? Cows? Yeah, for sure. We have cows now.
Well, I'm not sure exactly, because now I see one Archon like coming in, more High Templars. So maybe
he needs like way more Reavers against these Orcons.
That would be
sorry,
ideal,
but and Orcons to tank. Yeah, see, look at this army just destroy. Oh man, I mean, the upgrades aren't helping either. Really, the composition isn't good. Protoss.
I mean, there are 4 Reavers in total if you consider the ones at the back. That's
yeah, but there's not a good meat shield. So he's attacking the frontier when really he could just attack to the right, you know, because that's not as defended. But he's still doing okay here. He's killing a lot of units, and he might actually be able to destroy the space right now if he continues reinforcing. Yeah, he has enough to take it out, and he's going for it now.
Yeah.
The meat shield is dead, and the Reavers have been reached.
Yeah, and also, unfortunately, Djem was probably microing or something else. He couldn't kind of try to move them to a better position. So. Well, at this point, I mean, I think Djem even realized that there's not much he can do.
Now, was this a best of 1? What stage?
Sure.
1 of 8, 16?
Maybe.
I think there is a best of 1 on this map. I think it was a best of 1 actually. But I'm not sure. I didn't play in this one, so I don't know because I'm banned from Team Liquid. That's why I'm not sure.
Oh.
What's going on?
I'm not gonna
Otherwise,
ask, I'm not gonna ask why, because I don't want to get into the controversy myself. So. All right.